What is going on, everyone? This is Ninja Geek here. Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about Destiny 2, and specifically Gambit within Destiny 2. Now, I prefer to play a lot more of the PvE game modes. I don't really mess around with Crucible. It was kind of that way back in Destiny 1, and here it kind of is that way in Destiny 2. I love PvE game modes, and the Crucible I can deal with for a little bit, but I don't know, it's just something that's not totally for me, but something that would incorporate both a PvE VP game mode. Gambit seems interesting, and yes, it is interesting, and it is fun at times. However, Gambit has some problems with it, and I'm assuring you that everybody who has played Gambit knows what I am talking about, and so today I just want to issue some of my opinions and my fixes that I have for Gambit to make it a better game mode. Now, the only real problem and the real issue that I have with Gambit in Destiny 2 is the fact of basically the whole idea of the invasions, and that's pretty much where the PvP side of the PvEVP game mode comes in. And I understand what Bungie was doing with this, I understand where they were going with this, but right now in the game, it just does not work. It just does not make it a fun game mode to play. You play Gambit, and most of the times you're doing great. You know, the PvE side of the game mode is fun, it's fantastic, and then as soon as the invasion hits the PvP side of the game mode, it just completely sours the taste, and it really makes you not want to play the game mode. And for a lot of people, they don't really enjoy the game mode, or they have to play it to do specific quests like the Malfeasance quest, or you know, what have you, or specifically in Season of Dawn, how you can get the new shotgun while playing Gambit. You know, you have to play Gambit basically to get that new legendary shotgun, and unfortunately it's just not fun for a lot of people, specifically because of these invasions. And so because of that, I have a few changes, actually 3 specific changes that I personally would like to make to hopefully make the invasions a better experience for everyone across the board. And I hope Bungie considers these as options to do to Gambit, and hopefully they can consider this. Now, in thinking of ways that invasions can basically be fixed, I thought of many different things. Ultimately, you know, some were easy fixes or some were hard fixes, but these 3 changes that I am going to talk about here, I feel are the best way to go. Now, you can leave your comments down below if you have any other suggestions, or if you want to change mine a little bit, maybe make them better. But overall, I feel like these 3 changes alone would fix the entire game mode, will fix the invasions, and then therefore fix the entire game mode within Destiny 2. So the first change that I have to invasions is to make them happen less often so they feel more rewarding. Now, I think a lot of people have basically said this. This basically means that, obviously, like it says, that they don't happen as often as they do. Whether they make it so that it costs more motes to allow an invasion to happen, or that they don't make it so that the invasions happen as often during the primeval stage, or something along those lines. Basically, I would reduce the amount of invasions within a round from where it is at 100% now to maybe about like 75%, because basically right now it just feels like people keep invading over and over and over and over again, and it's always that same person that invades, always with a stupid one-shot weapon, like something stupid like the Leviathan's Breath that's basically meant for champions, unstoppable champions, and they're just going into Gambit, just one-shotting you from across the map. Of course, there are other problems which we're going to get into, but that's just frustrating how it keeps happening over and over and over again. And I feel like if you reduced the amount of times that you can invade, it would just make for a more pleasurable experience, because you're constantly always worrying. I mean, sometimes you get into Gambit games and the enemy team has no thumbs, no clue what they're doing, and nobody invades, and it's like, okay, this is a great game. But most of the time you're playing against sweaties who will constantly, it's just invade after invade after invade, and it feels like when one goes away, it comes within the next 30 seconds and or less. and there's nothing you could really do about it besides try to fight them off while you're also fighting off PvE. And it sucks for the team that basically has to fight off both, because it's like, if there's an invader, you're also fighting off all these all the enemies, of course, but if you're in the primeval stage, you're fighting off the primeval, the envoys, everything else that's shooting at you, plus the invader. It's just a lot to take care of within a time, and if you have constantly somebody's invading, it's just kind of frustrating for a lot of people, myself included. So that one's a pretty simple fix. I think that one can be done relatively easy, and I think a lot of people would encompass that change. Now, the next change, number 2 on my list here, is a big change that would really fix the entire invasion system as a whole. Even if number 3 wasn't done, number 3 that I have on this list is just kind of like a bonus, but number 2, the invader, or everybody in the entire Gambit game, has no wall hacks, or everybody gets wall hacks. What they have it now in the game is that the invader will invade, and they could see the entire team, you know, not like through walls. They can't see like their body or anything, but what I mean by wall hacks is, of course, you could see their name tag, and I feel like, and a lot of people feel like, that's just so unbalanced. Now, I do get what Bungie was going for with this. You know, you're talking about a 4v1 situation here where there's 4 people and, you know, you're by yourself. If you're invading, it's like, how are you going to fight that off? Oh, we'll just make it so you could see everybody, like, you know, basically where their basic location is. But I feel like what happens with the name tags is, not only do you see their name, but you can see how many emotes they have if you're during that first stage. And it's like, okay, obviously the invader's going to go for the person who has the most motes, or they're going to go for somebody who is closest to them. You know, it only makes sense now. When you remove this stuff, basically what would happen is the invader would rush towards their spawn, or, you know, somewhere close to where the enemies are. Like, you could see where the area is they're fighting. And I feel like if you did it that way, it would be like, okay, you know, I got a kill. You know, the kills would feel more rewarding because you found somebody. And, you know, it would just make for a better experience. And or maybe make it so that when you get close to people, their name tag pops up or something along the lines. But I don't really feel like the invaders should have complete knowledge over where the enemy team is at all times. Now, some people might argue and disagree with that and say, well, it's only fair because it's a 4v1 situation, but ultimately I just think that it's just not fair, because it's like, most of the times the whole team is not trying to focus in on the invader. The team is trying to focus in on getting the motes, or trying to defeat the primeval by shooting the envoys and shooting all these PvE guys, that they're not focused in on trying to find this invader. But what happens now is that even no matter what stage you're on, mostly it's even during the primeval stage that this happens, but even when you're during the mote stage, like gathering the motes to put in the bank, when the invader comes in, I literally just stop what I'm doing and just look for this person, because it's impossible to just play the game, like play the PvE side when the invader comes in, because the whole team has no knowledge of where this person is. And yeah, when he gets close or whatever the case is, you can see this person that's like basically highlighted in red, but it's just not good enough. You literally cannot tell. I mean, especially if they're far away sniping, there's no way that you're going to see, like, you have no idea where this person spawns in or anything like that. And it's just a mess. I feel like basically making it so that nobody has any sort of wall hacks, as in there's no, like, title above anybody's name for both sides. I mean, right now, the whole team doesn't have that. Only the invader has that. But I feel like having none of that would just make it a better experience, because the invader would actually have to move and see, you know, where, or they can choose to stick back if they want to, poke out with a sniper or something like that and see if they could find anybody. But it would force the invader to actually put more work into trying to get kills, and then the kills would then feel more rewarding, rather than, okay, here's everybody, let's just try and kill them, and then the whole other team is just at a complete disadvantage. Now, the other way is that if everybody gets wall hacks, but I prefer the first way that I just described. If everybody had the ability to see, like, you know, you were the invader, you can see where that whole team is, and then the whole team could see where the invader is. That could also be a solution, but I feel like that would just be basically like a game of hide and seek at that point. You've got an invader, and the whole team knows where this invader is, so he's not going to do that well, even, you know, because he has an overshield. He's still not going to be able to succeed if everybody knows where they are. But I feel like having one as the invader have the wall hacks and then the whole team not have it, it's just not fair in the current state that it is. And I feel like a lot of people would agree. But you can leave your comments below if you have a better change or a better suggestion in that part. But moving forward to my last suggestion to fix the invasions is during the boss fight, killing the invader before he leaves grants an instant sliver of damage dealt to your team's primeval. And I feel like this is a small change. It's something that can be probably easily done, but I feel like doing this would just make it just a tad better. Now, even if number 3 wasn't here, you know, the basic main part of the invasion problem has already been covered in step number 2, which I already described. But this would just make it a lot better. Obviously, when you're in the primeval stage, if an invader kills one of your teammates, you lose a significant chunk, or you gain actually a significant chunk of the primeval's health back. So I feel like to balance that part of it out, Bungie should make it so that if the invader dies before he leaves, then the team would get an instant sliver, maybe not as much as, you know, having somebody die on your team, but if you kill the invader, you get an instant sliver of damage dealt to your primeval. Because not only would that make it fair in terms of balance between, okay, the invader gets a kill and then you kill the invader, it would just make it more fair. Not only that, but it would just basically make it so that the invader has something to be more scared about, more worried about, not just, okay, I'm going to go invade and I'm going to go get these kills and that's it, yada yada. They would actually have to be scared, you know, there's something that they have to worry about, and that is dying, whereas where it is now, the invader could just invade during the primeval stage, and you don't really have to worry about dying, because you just run in there and get kills, and then even if you die, that's it. It's over. You know, yeah, it takes a little bit to respawn in, but nothing really happens. Whereas if they implemented this specific change where a whole team, you know, they kill this invader and then they grant themselves, you know, more damage dealt to the primeval, it makes it so, okay, I really have to stay alive as an invader. And then again, it makes it more rewarding as well, as we talked about back in step 1. So I feel like these 3 changes alone, maybe there are some other things that can be added or, you know, what have you, but I feel like these 3 changes alone would completely solve the Gambit invasion problem. And that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about today. You can let me know your thoughts down below on what you think of Gambit invasions and so on and so forth, and changes that I didn't mention that you would like to see, and critiquing my changes that I have implemented already into this video. And hopefully Bungie will take a look at this and try to fix Gambit, because I feel like Gambit could be a great game mode. Like I said before, I'm not really a huge fan of the PvP side of things, but a little bit here and there won't hurt it. The problem is that in Gambit, the invasions are just so unbalanced that it's just not fun to play. When you get to that invasion part, it's just like tanks the entire thing. And, you know, I would like playing Gambit just for fun, but most of the time right now I'm actually playing it to get the shotgun. I'm playing it slowly to get the malfeasance for that quest. I'm during that quest where you have to deliver the motes, and 2 times drops the motes. Or if you drop the motes, you lose 2 times the amount, and it's frustrating when you've got the invasion problem that's going on in Gambit right now. But anyways, that's it for this video. Let me know your thoughts down below. I will see you on the next one. This is Ninja Geek. I'm out, and peace.